You're listening to the Power Agent Blogcast, empowering agents to elevate their business to the next level.
Challenges are just a guide, leading you, don't run and hide. You've got the heart, you've got the drive, feel it pound, you're alive. Power Agent.
Welcome to the Power Agent Blogcast. Today we're tackling something really fundamental, especially if you're leading a real estate team. It's about mastering those tough conversations.
Yeah, they can be challenging, can't they? But getting them right isn't just about, fixing problems. It's actually core to building trust, boosting team performance, and really forging stronger connections.
Exactly. So we want to explore why these conversations matter so much and maybe unpack some effective ways to approach them.
Definitely, because handling these tricky discussions well, it's how you unlock your team's full potential, keep things harmonious. As a leader, you're doing more than just overseeing sales, right? You're kind of orchestrating communication.
That's a great way to put it. And communication, especially when things get difficult, is absolutely vital in this competitive real estate world.
It really is. It's not just nice to have. It's essential to, stay ahead of the game.
And, something that strikes me is how emotional these conversations always are. They're not just business talks. Emotions really heavily influence how everything unfolds.
They absolutely do. And recognizing that things like fear, maybe anxiety or defensiveness are just natural human responses. That's key. It gives you a better footing to navigate them thoughtfully.
And what about those emotional triggers? Specific words or maybe actions that just set someone off?
Yes. Being aware of those potential triggers is so important. It helps you steer the conversation more carefully, avoid accidentally making things worse. And what's really powerful is if you can train your team to also recognize and manage their own emotional responses, that can fundamentally change the dynamic.
Turn difficult into constructive.
Precisely. Makes these interactions way more productive.
Which brings up active listening, doesn't it? It seems absolutely crucial here.
Oh, completely. When you truly listen, properly focus on understanding the other person's perspective, you're doing so much more than just hearing. You're actively building trust. You're building rapport.
And that engagement, that empathy, it can really dial down the tension, right?
It really can. It creates the space you need for a more open, honest dialogue. Gets you to the actual heart of the issue.
So these conversations often pop up around, let's say, performance issues, or maybe clarifying responsibilities, or even changes in strategy.
Exactly, those kinds of things. And the goal then is, clear communication, directness, yes, but always with empathy underneath. You want your team members to feel heard, understood, and hopefully motivated, not blamed or discouraged.
It feels like a real test of leadership, handling those moments. But get it right.
And the payoff is huge. Real growth, better understanding within the team, stronger bonds overall.
So are there specific strategies, things leaders can actively do?
Yes, definitely. First off, preparation. It sounds basic, but it's vital. Gather your info, think through what outcome you actually want.
Okay, so do your homework first.
Right. Then, when you have the conversation, aim for direct and compassionate communication. State the issue clearly, but frame it around growth, personal, professional development.
And I imagine encouraging them to talk is part of it, not just a one-way street.
Absolutely critical. You have to invite their perspective, ask them how they see it, and then really listen to their response. It validates their feelings, plus you might uncover crucial insights you hadn't considered.
So follow those steps, and you create an environment where these tough talks actually lead to positive change, strengthen relationship.
Exactly. It shifts the whole dynamic.
Okay, let's pivot slightly to feedback, because mastering clear, constructive feedback seems just as essential for team growth.
It is hugely important for performance enhancement. And the key here is being direct, but also specific. Focus on behaviors you actually observe or outcomes you can point to, not, vague stuff like do better. That doesn't help.
Specificity, so they know exactly what needs attention.
Precisely. And that's where models like the SBI framework come in handy, situation, behavior, impact.
Right, SBI. Can you walk us through that quickly?
Sure. S is situation. Describe when and where it happened. Like, in yesterday's client meeting. B is behavior. Describe the specific action. You interrupted the client multiple times. And I is impact. Explain the effect, which seemed to make them less willing to continue the dialogue.
Okay. So instead of just you interrupt too much, it's concrete. In situation X, you did behavior Y, and the impact was Z.
Exactly. It gives much clearer direction for how to improve. much more helpful.
That makes a lot of sense. And while giving that kind of critique is important, I guess you need to balance it.
Oh, definitely. You need to balance critique with positive reinforcement. Acknowledge what people are doing well. That boosts morale, makes people much more receptive when you do need to address development areas.
And creating a two-way street for feedback, making it a loop.
Vital. Encourage questions, let them share their perspective too. It emphasizes that this is about growth, about learning together, builds trust, transparency.
So really, when we pull this all together, mastering these tough conversations goes way beyond just dealing with problems. It's foundational for building trust, creating transparency, driving actual growth on the team.
It really is. Understanding the psychological side of it, managing resistance when it comes up, finding that balance between being empathetic and still holding the line, that's the art.
These dialogues, even though they feel challenging sometimes, they're actually opportunities.
Huge opportunities for building mutual respect, for everyone's professional development. Honestly, effective communication in these moments, it's probably a leader's greatest asset.
Strengthens your influence, strengthens the team.
Without a doubt.
So it really highlights that working on these communication skills isn't just a nice extra. It's pretty vital for staying competitive in real estate today.
Couldn't agree more. It's about staying at the forefront. So the takeaway really is, don't shy away from these tough conversations. See them as chances to grow. Always aim for that balance, empathy, but also clarity and authority when needed.
Yeah, every interaction is a chance to build more trust, show your commitment to excellence.
And it comes back to those basics we talked about. Active listening, clear articulation, and making feedback something that's welcomed, not feared.
Because that clarity, it builds the trust. And trust is the foundation, isn't it?
It's the bedrock. Everything else is built on that. And dedicating yourself, consistently to refining these skills, that's what elevates the whole team.
So mastering tough conversations, definitely a journey, not a destination. But focusing on empathy, clear communication, keeping that growth mindset, that's how you turn potentially negative situations into springboards for a stronger, more effective team.
Well said. And maybe as you, the listener, think about your next crucial conversation, consider how you might apply just one or two of these ideas. Sometimes even small shifts in approach can lead to a much more positive, much more productive outcome.